Mark, 4 minutes. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark, 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's live show broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. On the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented by Morris Bank, this is Hail Southern Live.
Glory to God and a bunch of great kids. Is college football not the best thing on earth?
Live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Coming up, your all-access pass into Georgia Southern athletics, including a visit with head football coach Clay Helton.
Georgia Southern is championships. That's what this place was founded on. And the expectation and the standard each and every year is to compete and win championships.
Hail Southern Live is brought to you by Morris Bank. Bleed Blue, Bank Blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. The Georgia Lottery. Today could be the day. And by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport and the Savannah Airport Commission. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's head live inside Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, it is great to see you again. One more time back at Wild Wing Cafe. This is Hail Southern Live each week. Presented by Morris Benko, the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. 60 minutes worth of Georgia Southern athletics talk. Plenty of Eagle football later on with head coach Clay Helton and standout running back Jalen White. If you have any questions or comments for tonight, feel free to submit those on Facebook Live. You can also tweet us at GS Sports Network. One more home football game. It's hard to believe it's gone by that fast. Eagles go for an undefeated home slate. It is senior day. It is Ag Day this weekend. 6 o'clock kick against the Old Dominion Monarchs. First time they come to Paulson since the FCS playoffs in 2011. Will be on at 4 p.m. with the Cutwater Spirits tailgate show. We've got a lot of athletic events going on at the same time. Big event coming up on Friday over at Neesmith Lane with the second ever In the Round. That was a really big hit in 2022. Proceeds from this year's event will benefit the baseball project over at J.I. Clement Stadium. And to talk about that for the next few minutes, Eagle Nation, welcome in Director of Athletics, Jared Benko, to Wild Wing Cafe.
Thank you.
Great to have you on. Appreciate the time.
No, it's good to be here. As I was telling Danny earlier today, I can't believe we're looking up and staring at Thanksgiving next week. And I feel like we were in fall camp not too long ago.
Before we get to what In the Round means as part of the overall fall calendar, it was announced within the last few weeks that 4 separate fall teams have achieved top RPI rankings in school history. You've still got 2 in competition. Granted, women's rifle did just finish up last weekend, but they're up to number 4 in the country now before they return to competition in January. Volleyball is leaving for Foley for the conference tournament. The rising tide lifts all boats. That's what you say all the time. But just to see what's already been done this fall, pretty remarkable stuff.
No, and the credit goes to our student athletes and coaches. And, Danny, for us, I use that phrase a lot. You're starting to see the yield of the crop come in just from the last couple of years.
Sure.
A lot of our programs were in rebuilding mode upon getting here. And, listen, you get the right coaches in, they recruit the right student athletes, and they deserve all the credit. And really exciting, women's soccer, when they took over, was 286 RPI. We're at 47. Right now, rifle is going to be top 3 in the country after, beating, Memphis this weekend and Ole Miss as well. Volleyball's been top 75 the entire year. Women's golf, got a lot to be thankful for, but we still have a lot of work to do.
And we're going to talk with Coach Helton and Jalen White a little bit later on, but a 5-0 home record. You've had 4 straight crowds of at least 20. The record when it gets to 20 since 2010 has been well chronicled. But just to speak so much about the power of Paulson, it keeps coming up because the Eagles keep feeding it when they play here. It's a magical feeling to watch that team play at that stadium. No,
100%. And the fans, listen, every game we've had this year, and I even look at going back, we've always had great attendance. But even this year, the students have showed up, our fans have showed up.
Yeah.
Obviously, under the lights is special. That's my favorite time, is to go at 6 or 7 o'clock kicks, and it's magical. And the power of Paulson's a real deal. And our student athletes feed off it, our coaches, and include myself. It's something we look forward to, and I can't wait for Saturday night.
That's something, if you could be able to shed a bit more light on, because early in the season, some of those kicks get announced. Those first couple of home games, typically those have been 6 o'clock kicks because of how hot it still is here when you get into the month of September. But unless a home game gets picked up by linear television, what's the process like for determining the time of a home kick later in the season?
Yeah, so in the past, you can do it a couple different ways. One, you can get out in advance of all the games and do it, knowing that, the good news is some, but we've picked up more and more linear broadcasts, which NFL Network's showing more this year. It was announced today about ESPNU against App, obviously up there. So, the one thing you got to balance is getting the times too far out in advance and they could change, and you don't want to confuse, our fans and others that are coming in for games. But, no, our preference is to play. I love playing under the lights at Paulson, and, that's our preference. We were sitting on this game being at 6. We're waiting to see if it got picked up, but, man, I love playing at night. So.
Well, I know you like that light show, too.
Yeah, the light show. And really, listen, I know Dan Adams and Stacy as well, our marketing team, have done a great job, and our staff's done a great job this year continuing to improve the in-game show and management. And so we love, obviously, being under the lights. And listen, it's been 5-0. It's not by coincidence. The fans have brought it every game, and we're so thankful to have them there.
With all the construction that continues to take place on and around campus, the Convocation Center seems like it's growing like a weed. With the steel that was delivered, you've almost got the seating bowl completed, and to think that we're right around a year from that being completed and being able to get in there and make that the new home of Eagle men's and women's basketball, pretty cool stuff. Yeah, no, I took a tour on Friday before we left for Marshall. I tried to put the one of the contractors on a spot. I said, all right, when can we really get in? And I was hoping, he said by June we'd have a really firm date. Okay. But it's awesome. I mean, they're actually on the 20th, so next week, they're bringing in these massive truss for the roof of the building, and so you're really going to start seeing it come together. And there's some of that dirt that's out front on 301 is going to be moved here pretty soon, just so they got to put it on the backside. And so you're really going to start seeing the full scope of it. It's a massive. It's 96,000 square feet, and really excited about it. I mean, the bowl looks great. It's going to be right on top of the court. And listen, the really cool thing, too, is seeing what it's going to be for our basketball teams, seeing the vision, and also for the Waters College as well, the synergies with having, obviously a nutrition lab, having a strength conditioning area as well, and having all of our student athletes, men's basketball, women's basketball, be over there full time. So really excited about it. To give Eagle Nation a little peek into what else they can expect from the new venue, not too long ago, the video got released of Charlton Young finding out that his jersey was going to be retired. One of the best point guards in school history, was on the 92 NCAA tournament team. Now, I don't know if we could say that that's the only one, but that's definitely going to be a cool accent when that building gets done, and to see his number 12 go up in the rafters. Yeah, so we're going to retire. We haven't announced it yet. We have 4 men's basketball student athletes who's, again, not the number, but the jersey is going to be retired, and 3 women's basketball student athletes. So look forward to honoring them. And, CY, he was actually one of the first couple calls I made when I got here. And, when you start new, that's back in 20 and COVID's going on, you finish up and you start an hour or two every night making calls. And I remember calling CY early on and just getting to know more about him and his experience here, both as a student athlete and coach. And he actually called me, unbeknownst. I didn't know when Charlie was going to call him. And so he hit me up on my cell. He goes, hey, give me a call. And so he was in tears, even telling me and just how much it meant to him, but also his dad. And it was a really cool moment. We talked for about 30 minutes, just caught up. But he's a great guy, and look forward to actually meeting him in person. I've talked to him a ton on the phone, but not in person. For Eagle football, it's senior day. It's Ag Day against Old Dominion, but the night before on Friday, the second in the round event that's going to be benefiting the project for J.I. Clements Baseball Stadium. This became a thing last year, and when you and I talked before, you always brought up Nashville, Bluebird Cafe, what that was like, and trying to bring that kind of mentality and that kind of experience for Eagle Nation. Obviously, it did pretty well for doing it for a second year, and the lineup's pretty impressive. Yeah, no, it's really an ode to all our country music, not only artists, but we have a ton of songwriters up there, and even people, producers and agents, and you name it. So, obviously, as a country music fan, it was a great opportunity to kind of merge some different passions and really create an event that's one of a kind here. And so last year was a huge success, and we did it obviously with the proceeds going to the Tippins training facility, and this year goes to the baseball project that we're raising money for. And so, listen, anytime you can bring in the top shelf artists we're doing, it's a small event, probably 275, 300 people, and it's a really intimate setting. If you like, obviously, the songwriter roundtable format, it's really neat. So. What can you tell us about what that selection process is like for the artists that have a chance to come to Neesmith Lane and play? Yeah, that's probably a little pet habit of mine, probably just keeping up with all the new artists and the new music. And part of it in working with our staff, I mean, you'd be amazed year over year how multipliers, like how some people go. Like I remember Lainey Wilson, we were looking at a couple years ago, and she was, I think, at a 30,000 K, just appearance fee, and then within a couple months she was at a 10-time multiple, 300,000. Wow. And so some of these artists you really have to get out in advance of, just because you're booking them 8 to 10 months in advance. And I look at our lineup right now, there's no way, knowing, especially with Lana Springsteen's success here the last few months, and Chase Matthew, of course, Travis Denning's on the chart, and Ray Lynn's been around and had a lot of hits. I mean, we were able to really get a great lineup and get them out early, because I don't know if we could afford getting them all here now and still be a fundraiser. So. You, Chris, the administration, in the 3 years you've been here, it's been so much about improving that fan experience. So much of that is on a game day, whether it's at Han or whether it's at Paulson. But to extend that to an event like this, where this may have never even been thought of before, just to get people even more excited for game day, that's a cool thought. Yeah, no, it's worked out well. We've done it in November. It seems to work well before that last home game. Yeah.
You also have people obviously coming in early for Thanksgiving and whatnot. And so, no, it's been great. We've sold more tables this year. In fact, we've pretty much everyone that bought a table last year renewed, and then we added some more this year. And listen, man, we're fired up. It's a really unique event. Goes for 2 hours. We also have a live auction and a silent auction as well to benefit the project. And, you know, raised 6 figures last year and hoping to do the same this year.
For someone that has not been to the event, what would you tell them to anticipate on Friday?
Well, listen, I mean, it's really unique. I'm showing my age here. There was back in the day there was a VH1 storytellers, or you know, it was basically hey, this is the song, and then they tell you about how they wrote it.
Yeah,
it's the same thing with the Bluebird Cafe, where you know the really neat thing of country music is somebody may write a song and you have no idea about, and so the really cool thing is the artist will say, well, hey, I wrote this about this situation or this breakup or this event in my life. You know, that's a cool story, and then they start playing. You're like, oh, that's the song I remember. And so it's pretty unique because you kind of get to hear the artist's kind of mindset of how they wrote the song and also why they sing it the way they do. And if you like music, it's really neat to kind of, and it's an acoustic set, and you don't have a chance to see a lot of acoustic sets as well. So really fun event, and also too, I mean, it's just they feed off. A lot of it's back and forth. There's joking. A lot of them know each other, so it's a really cool event.
It's going to be the highlight of a really fun weekend in the round on Friday night at Neesmith Lane Conference Center. Jared, appreciate the time tonight. Best of luck the entire weekend, and can't wait to see the Blue and White get a victory on Saturday as well.
Thank you. And also, too, I want you to know, because I heard you're a Swiftie, there is a Taylor Swift guitar we're auctioning off. So
now, Coach Helton's actually the Swiftie, and we're going to get a chance to talk with him here in a minute. He is a big Swiftie.
Daryl Lynn told me you're a Swiftie. I'm sorry she didn't tell me right. So
well, now everybody knows. I appreciate you revealing that.
I appreciate it.
That's Director of Athletics Jared Benko. Head Coach Clay Helton joins us after the timeout from Wild Wing Cafe. This is Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Hey, Georgia, it's John Crow. Want a chance to win $500 instantly just by playing Fantasy 5? Well, now through November 26th, that can happen. Just look for the prize symbol on your ticket and listen for this sound.
You're a winner.
Well, there you go. You just won $500 instantly. How cool is that? There'll be 150 winners every week. It could be you. Now through November 26th. So go play during the Fantasy 5 $500 cash giveaway only from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's game day. What do you take to the tailgate? A flat screen TV? Take it to the tailgate. Your wife's favorite blender? A DJ sound system? With a Ford F-150 truck, you can take it all. With available Pro Power onboard that acts like a mobile generator, you can use F-150 to take your tailgate to the next level. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. See owner's manual for important operating instructions.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Eagle Nation, tune in to Inside Georgia Southern Football each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus, and watch locally on WJCL Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Our weekly 30-minute dive into Eagle football features head coach Clay Helton looking back at the week before and previewing the week ahead. It's football season, and your inside look is each Monday, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus and Saturdays at 11:30 on WJCL. Inside Georgia Southern Football with head coach Clay Helton. Don't miss it.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Dinner's cooking. Touchdown.
The fury.
Getting blitzed. Down he goes.
The speed.
By 40. There he goes. Down the sideline.
The best in college football.
Toward the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You can unhitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the barn. Back in the end zone. 30. 20. Say goodnight to this one.
This is the College Football Blitz. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Pennington shotgun off to him with the snap. They fake to Ali. Eagles with pressure. Pennington hit, and the ball comes free. And Georgia Southern is recovered at the Marshall 46-yard line. Driscoll tried to reach in to recover it back, but it's Eagle football. It's Isaac Walker one more time. Defensive end Isaac Walker is the national leader with 5 forced fumbles, and now the national leader with 4 fumbles recovered. Quite the season for the Charlotte native. That was from last Saturday up in Marshall. Eagles come back to Paulson Stadium one final time this weekend. 6 o'clock kick versus Old Dominion. East Division Championship is still in play, but Georgia Southern is going to need to win its final 2 games and get some help the final weekend with James Madison and Coastal. We'll talk about that as we progress this evening from Wild Wing Cafe. Just a reminder that women's basketball is currently underway on the SEC Network, taking on Georgia up at Stegman Coliseum. We'll update you on that the rest of the evening. Men's basketball tomorrow night is on the road. They're heading down to Florida, take on the Jacksonville Dolphins. 7 o'clock tip-off from Swisher Gymnasium. We'll be there for the call, starting at 6:30 with a Cutwater Spirits countdown to tip-off. Mentioned the big weekend with Jared Benko in the round on Friday, Senior Day and Ag Day on Saturday as the Eagles and Monarchs play game number 11. To talk more about that, Eagle Nation, please welcome in the head coach, Clay Helton, to Wild Wing Cafe.
Thank you. Yes.
Great to have you back one more time, and it's literally one more time at Paulson Stadium this weekend, trying for the perfect home record.
Yeah, definitely. It's been such a magical year at home, and appreciative to the alumni, the fans, the students. It's just every time that we've walked in there, it's been electric, magical, and we got one more time. And it's a big game for our team. It's a big game for our season. And our kids are excited about to get back home and try to go 1-0 this weekend. It's a good Old Dominion team.
And we've talked so much about the power of Paulson, brought it up with Jared a little bit earlier. And for as much as you see it, every time you're there, it's still got to feel like it's the first time you're seeing it.
Well, no question. It's one of the more special venues there are in sports. I don't care what sport you're playing. When you walk into Statesboro, Georgia, walk into a place that has so much history, that has accomplished so much, so hard for the opposing team to win at. It's one of the reasons it's one of the top 5 places in the country, toughest places to play.
You'll have a chance to watch 26 of your guys play one more time there. The Senior Day ceremonies are always emotional. It's also Ag Day, but to know that roughly a quarter of your team is going to do it for the final time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. I know that you've only got them for 2 years, but how many memories has that group packed into these last 2 years?
Well, there's such a trust and relationship that is built. Anytime that you take over a team in 21 that have won 3 games, you've got to have buy-in.
Sure.
And I think about Brian Miller and Khalil Crowder and Kadri Jackson and their teammates. You think about the amount of trust that they had in this staff and the relationships that were built, and you look up and they've accomplished so much over the last 2 years and still haven't finished the season. So proud for them. It's going to be, I know obviously I remember my last time playing in college. You always do in your home stadium. and it'll be a special moment for them. So I hope we fill Paulson and honor a bunch of good men that have fought and given a lot to this university.
And that's a point that came up during your press conference earlier today about the trust that had to take place going from one staff to another, and that's what these guys are dealing with so much now. Everywhere, all across the country, student athletes, the world is constantly changing with NIL, the transfer portal, and to know that you guys came in, established that trust so quickly, and have these kind of relationships means that much more.
Yeah, these guys have really laid a foundation for us. You look at the trajectory that they've got our football program going in year 2. I can't thank them enough because they let a guy come in, be a part of their family, their football family, and they became a part of mine and our coaching staff. And so there's some very, very special relationships that will last a lifetime, and we get to honor that relationship this Saturday.
Going back to not necessarily what happened during the game against Marshall, we'll get to that during our next segment, but earlier today during your press conference, you said that when you looked in the eyes of a lot of those guys, you saw something different that you hadn't necessarily seen on the road this year. We know the Eagles have struggled away from Paulson Stadium this year, but you noticed that you saw something different with those guys even after Marshall had the opening kickoff return touchdown. What exactly did you see? What did you feel?
Well, it felt like home. It really did. We had talked about all week that one of the things that we have to improve on as a team away from home is bringing our own energy. There's plenty of want to, but being able to produce our own energy, because when you have good plays on the road, the fans aren't cheering. You have to bring energy to each other. And I thought they just did an unbelievable job of supporting each other in a game that was ultra competitive on a special night for the opposing team. Hard place to play. They're one of the top 5 teams in the country, toughest places to play. And they started out with a gut punch and see no deer in the headlights, but everybody say, hey, Coach, we got this. We got this. We'll take care of it. And then for them to fight right back and take the lead at halftime, there was a look in their eye that I was like, okay, we just took a step forward as a team. So everybody may think, everybody may think I'm crazy, but when we walked out there, I'm extremely disappointed with the loss. That's what we are as competitors. But I watched the team grow before my eyes and what it takes, and I told them in the team meeting, hey, remember this. We get to go back to Paulson. We know what we can do in Paulson. We've got another game that we've got to play on the road, and hopefully 3 more games on the road. And so you've got to remember this moment and what you did, because when you look at it, you brought the right attitude, you brought the right energy, you brought the right focus. There were 5 plays in that game we wish we had back. Any of those 5 plays, one of them probably would have altered the game and the win, and that's what we got to learn from. But you cannot change that attitude that you brought to the park that day. And so, proud of the kids in that and taking a step forward, and now we've got to correct those execution plays.
We'll take a look back at Marshall from this past weekend. We'll also preview Old Dominion. Eagle Nation, a reminder, the East Division Championship is still in play with 2 weekends left, but Georgia Southern's going to need to hold up its end and get a little bit of help from the rest of the division. We'll also talk with running back Jalen White as we continue from Wild Wing Cafe. This is Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Wild Wing, I think I love you. Hey, Eagle Nation, this is Terry Harvin from the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro is your true blue home for hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Owned and operated by a proud Georgia Southern grad, Wild Wing Cafe is the official home of Hail Southern Live, the Eagles' weekly sports show every Monday night starting at 7 p.m. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, catering, or takeouts, you'll say the same thing I do every time. Wild Wing, I think I love you. Go Eagles, and go Wild Wing.
Your cargo transportation choice in Savannah and the Southeast. Flexible and responsive drayage solutions. Your success is our final destination. Savannah Logistics Group.
A logistics company that strives to deliver the best drivers, employees, and customer experience through our core values of empowerment, innovation, and consistency. Savannah Logistics Group, a proud supporter of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Put a smile on your face and put your hands together for the Houdinis of the hardwood, the human highlight reels that bring wow to the now, the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Hanner Fieldhouse on December 15th. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
What's up, fans? This is Roddy Jones, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country weekly with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your podcasts. And while you're at it, be sure to give us a follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded college athletics.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield, live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, just a reminder, if you have not yet, please do purchase a ticket to win the Eagle Nation Collective's custom golf cart. This thing has a backup camera on a golf cart. It is snazzy. $50 per ticket. They're going to be taking submissions until Friday. The winner will be announced during the Old Dominion game on Saturday. You can log on to EagleNationNIL.com. Again, for the ENC custom-made golf cart, $50 per ticket. EagleNationNIL.com to find out more. Coach, we're going to be talking with Jalen White in just a little bit, and he is someone that has benefited from the collective, just like so many of our 430 student athletes.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's been so special to be able to have NIL at Georgia Southern and to see the college experience grow for our student athletes. Cannot thank Eagle Nation Collective enough for what it's done, as well as all the companies in our community that have helped our student athletes.
Getting back to Marshall from last Saturday, it was a 38-33 loss, but after the Herd ran that opening kickoff back for the touchdown, we went over this a little bit earlier today, but you absorbed the blow, stuck with your game plan, got the ball to Jalen White 20 times, which is what he's been averaging over the last 4 weeks of the season. But to see how they changed what they've done defensively, we knew that some of the numbers were really good, but it was a lot of loaded boxes to try to take away Jalen, and Davis throws for more than 300.
Yeah, and I think that's really a mark of a good offensive coordinator. I thought Ellis did a great job of recognizing. And credit to Marshall. At 3 games in a row, you have a 100-yard rusher that's really building and has his best game of the season the week prior, 180 rushing yards on the day for our football team, and they came in to stop the run. And when that happens, your quarterback and your wideouts got to go to work. And you look up, you should have an over 300 passing day, and that's what happened. And so you're ending up, putting points on the board. Probably where we could have done better, just being real, is down in the red zone. We were 2 of 6. Needed another touchdown or 2 to be able to solidify that game over field goals. But I was proud of Coach Ellis, as well as the quarterback, for recognizing, okay, this is going to be a loaded box day. We're going to have to go to work and lean on that passing game.
When you get into the red zone, the amount of field you have to work with is reduced. That almost goes without saying, but I have to bring it up here because Georgia Southern's offense is based on space, the classic pace and space that so many teams have adopted recently. But when you take away that part of the field and you're bound by that back border of the end zone, how much does that impact what you can call to still try to get into the end zone?
Well, the windows are tighter, and you're in a guessing game between man and zone. There's really only a couple calls that happen down there. You get cover 0, you get cover 1, and you get basically a drop cover 4. Okay. And you're in a guessing game. The one thing, and I think Ellis will say it too, is You know, we let Jalen touch it 20 times in that game. We probably needed to touch it 25 and have 5 more down there.
He would appreciate that, too.
Yeah, and, you know, when you go back and evaluate that game, we would say that, hey, you know, you've got to get it to 25 a couple more times down there and let him be the guy that workhorse that he is. You know, we did hit some man-to-man plays that I thought were really good. You saw Jalen Barden come up with a nice tight window catch. You saw Durham Burgess in man coverage go ahead and go above the rim and make a huge fade catch there late. You know, so that the catches were there in man coverage. I was hoping that we would take a little bit more advantage when we found the zone and be able to get it to Jalen.
With Barden, he has gotten more run over these last, I'd say, 4 or 5 games. But what's made it more impressive, he's a slot guy, but he's had to play a lot of outside as well. He's been rotating in with Anthony Quayle. But to post career highs with 6 catches, 96 yards, you mentioned the tight window on the 9-yard touchdown. How has he developed in practice to earn those opportunities on game day?
Well, it's been really neat, Danny, to be able to see. It seems like you got Caleb, you know, you got Derwin, you got those tight ends, you got Jalen, and there's had to be that other guy that stood up. You know, 3 weeks ago it was Marcus Sanders. A week ago it was AQ. Who comes in this time? Oh, there's Jalen Barden that gets the hot hand and really made some nice plays for us. You know, a deep ball catch that was really set us up for another score in the fourth quarter or third quarter, and then, you know, making that huge touchdown catch in a very tight window. Only place a ball could go, Davis fits it in, and you're trusting your wideout to go down and make that play for you, and he did.
Terry and I were watching the play in the booth, and it was almost like we snapped, and the ball it went from his hand to being caught, and we didn't even see him throw it. It was that quick, it was that tight, which made it that much more impressive.
Yeah, and that's the red zone. I mean, when you're throwing the ball down there, you have to be ultra precise because the windows are so tight, and you cannot hesitate. You hesitate down the red zone, you're going to get somebody hurt, and 2, it's probably going to be a turnover.
Someone we talk about every week. He deserves to be talked about every week, but he sets another record on Saturday. Marquez Watts, 2001 and 2002. To know as an offense that you're going to see one in the middle of everything that you do, but he still makes all those plays, how does he continue to be involved?
Well, he's just so football instinctive. And I'll tell you, I think it goes hand in hand. Your interior run players are playing so well also. Latrell Bullard, I think about Trayvon Locke, you know, Elijah Fall. You know, those guys are playing at a very high level and keeping the big men off Mar to run the lanes and be able to get guys down, and he's doing his job. He's so football instinctive, studied. I mean, he's a student of the game. He can almost call out the plays before they're run. A lot of times he'll start calling about out there. I'm like, yeah, you're right, here it comes. And he does such an amazing job. To have over 100 tackles for the second year in a row, that's pretty darn special. So proud for him.
And with potentially maybe 4 games left in the season, he could break Georgia Southern's single-season tackles record. He's going to need to do a lot over the final few weeks, but that is in play. I believe he's 29 away going into Old Dominion this weekend. Before we take the timeout, earlier this season, Davis Brin did a spin move to pick up a first down. He did it again against Marshall. Started calling it the Brin spin, be able to go inside and avoid the extra contact. But as the head coach, when your starting quarterback potentially puts his body on the line like that, what's that mental process look like?
Well, it was a key moment in the game, and it was a designed quarterback read off the end man on the line of scrimmage. And, you know, to Davis's credit, you know, we really don't do that unless it's 3rd and short or goal line. But you have to have that threat. You don't do it 10 times in the game. We maybe do it once, maybe twice. But in that specific area, I thought it was a good call by Brian to be able to get a 2-on-1 on the end. Good read by Davis. He got what was there, then get the heck down after you get that first down and protect yourself. But another good spin move by him.
When you said it was designed, I thought, okay, the spin move could not have possibly been designed.
No, that was just him being him. But
look, I know Ellis is nuts, but he's not that nuts.
No, we don't design spin moves.
Quick update from Athens. Georgia Southern women's basketball taking on Georgia. About 6 minutes left in the first half. Bulldogs lead the Eagles 27-19. You can catch that on the SEC network and see if Anita Howard's squad can get a victory over an SEC team for the second time since the 2019 season. Hail Southern Live is brought to you in part by the Savannah Hilton Head International Airport, the official airport of the Georgia Southern Eagles. You can visit them online for more information at flysav.com, flysav.com. We'll take a break. Jalen White comes to join us, standout running back from Daleville, Alabama. That's after this timeout from Wild Wing Cafe on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Don't let an injury keep you on the sidelines. So go where the pros go, Optum Orthopedics. They're the official orthopedics and team physicians for Georgia Southern Athletics. Thanks to Optum, our Eagles get the best care on and off the field. The good news is that Optum is here for you too. Located in our community, Optum is the leader in advanced orthopedic care throughout the Southeast. Like the Eagles, you deserve the freedom to soar. With Optum's fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, you will. Your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you.
You know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
At Georgia Southern, we're more than a university. We're a legacy, forged from a spirit of tenacity, grit, and determination. We're transforming communities, changing lives, and igniting the vitality of our economies. Take advantage of No Fee November, where all undergrad application fees are waived from now until November 30th. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Visit georgiasouthern.edu/apply to find out more.
Hey Eagle fans, this is Jared Benko. Renew your basketball season tickets today to watch Charlie Henry's first season leading the Eagles. Prices start at $100 for general admission and $150 for upper reserve. Reserve yours by calling 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Parking passes this season are also available to Earl Russell Fund donors for $100. Experience Georgia Southern basketball in its final full season at Hanner Fieldhouse. Renew your season tickets today. 1-800-GSU-WINS or gseagles.com/tickets.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hail Southern and GATA.
At Georgia Southern, we have a rich basketball tradition to live up to.
Kick out left wing for more. Shot big on Iheanacho. Pulls the three. He swirls it home. It counts off the glass in the foul. And a free throw try to tie it.
What a special opportunity. Our last season at Hanner Fieldhouse.
Curry the clean up in the dunk at 4-0-3.
It's only right we send it off in style with one last ride.
Listen to Eagle basketball all season on the Georgia Southern Sports Network.
Inside handoff, nice little counter for Jalen White. This could be a shot. 45, up the numbers 40, breaks an ankle tackle, 30, thunders his way into Jacoby Henderson. That's the young bull with the horns out. Down to the 24 from Morris Bank. First down, it goes for a gain of 28. Longest carry of the evening for Georgia Southern. And the guy sitting to our left has had a lot of those ever since he got to Statesboro in 2020. If you have any questions here on Hail Southern Live, submit those at GS Sports Network or on Facebook Live. Let's introduce him. Fourth-year running back coming up on 2,500 career yards. Please welcome Jalen White. Look, that's got to be kind of wild to think about. You're coming up on 400 career carries, 2,500 yards, and less than 3 years ago you had just gotten here. So
Yes,
that's got to be nuts.
Yeah, it is a surreal feeling. Like, sometimes I just sit back and think about. I never really thought I'd be in this position. You just never know what life is gonna throw at you. But I'm in a position that I am.
I could still remember that very first game you came in against Army. Your first snap was on the 1 yard line. We're thinking, okay, we have not seen it. We've heard so much about this guy, Jalen White. Hadn't seen him before that play. Thinking, okay, is his first touch going to be a touch?
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Yeah, that would have been crazy. I remember, it was in there with Shy Words on the 1 yard line. I was like, about to get the first touchdown. But it is.
But that season, you carried it 20 times. Now that's what you're getting per game. So to see how that has taken place, where going in, you're going to touch the ball a lot. So mentally, physically, how do you prepare yourself?
So mentally, it's a mindset. Especially at the running back position, it's a mindset. Every time you line up, you got to think, I'm gonna run through this guy. I won't let one guy take me down. Just keep striving, keep fighting, and just do whatever it takes to help your team win and get into a good position. And physically, everything really starts on Sunday, and sometimes even Saturday night when I get back to the crib, I'll hop in the tub, Epsom salt, get my body back right. And then Sunday, I'll come in the treatment room, get a little work in, then get a maintenance lift with Coach Steiner, get a little leg work, shoulders, neck, So, and then throughout the week, even that Monday day off, you come back in there, get in the training room, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, have to practice, get extra ice, and then Saturday, get ready to roll again.
What was the first time that you got into a cold tub?
The first time I got in the cold tub was my freshman year. It was during that fall camp, and that's when I realized that in order to last at this level, you really got to take care of your body. So I started seeing the older guys like J.D. King, Wesley Kennedy, Logan Wright, Matt LaRose. I started seeing them doing that, so I'm going to do the same thing they're doing so I could last.
Did you think that was a crazy idea where they're hopping into a tub and you're, man, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not exactly sure what I should be doing here.
I mean, I did, but I knew it was going to have some benefits with it. I'm not going to lie to you and say I was just jump in there and stand there for 10 minutes when I first started, but over time it's got easier and easier. But I definitely got to get in there with socks because my feet just can't take that. They get cold quick.
You and I have talked a bunch before about how you've developed as a receiver. What I want to know is, how does the mentality as when you're a runner and the ball is going to be in your hands to start a play, as opposed to a receiver when you're not sure if the ball's coming to you?
I think you just got to approach with the same mindset because, even if you don't get the ball, whatever, if you have a swing route, you got to run your swing route 100% because it's going to open up a passing lane for Davis to get the ball into one of our receivers' hands. So, it's all about being unselfish. So everybody on the field got to do their 111, and you do that helps the team win.
You bring up the swing route. That was the second play of the game. You go for 11. As you're rolling out and you catch that pass, but then you look upfield, are you trying to find where your defense is, your blockers are, or how do you process what's going on in front of you?
So it's a little bit of everything. So, once you secure the ball, the first thing I do, I look for the blocks because, I know, my coach always tells me, he says, hug it, stretch it, and then scrape paint. And so that's the main thing you got to see your blockers, and then after that, you got to see what the defenders is. So, you got to understand what do you have to do. Should I cut in this situation? Should I just lower my shoulder and get what I get? So that's really the mindset. Everything happens in a split second, so you just got to think fast.
The senior year that you had in Daleville was stuff of legend. You led the country in rushing that year with more than 3,500 yards in a year. And we had mentioned a couple of games before where it was halftime. You're over 400 yards.
Yeah.
You're not really getting a chance to do a whole lot in the second half. But to now be at a point at an FBS program that's as proud as this one is, approaching 2,500 yards on the ground, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I know I couldn't do it without my O-line. That's the guy I got to thank every single time. And then I just got to thank my coaches because, they always work with me and put me in this position to be successful. And I know they want what's best for me. And so I can't thank them enough. And it's just a surreal feeling. I'm really just blessed.
Academically, you're a senior, but on the field, you'd have 2 more years technically. This being senior day, you've got 2 guys in front of you that have combined been here almost 2 decades. And I say that jokingly, but I say it kind of seriously, with Brian Miller at left tackle and then Khalil Crowder at right guard. Both are all-conference caliber guys. Khalil's been all-league each of the last 2 years. But to have guys there with that many snaps in their career, you have to feel like they're going to know what's coming because they've seen everything.
Right. And that's a great feeling because, like even when we do plays, like we have a counter where we have our pullers. It's just they play so much football and they know what to expect. They know how to play a spill. They know how to play a force. And then they're strong individuals. So, I mean, I don't get tired of running behind them. Like, I got a lot of yards because of the guys. So I say let's just keep doing it.
They're strong individuals, but you're a strong individual because you're on Bruce Feldman's freak list with some of those measurables. How do you treat the weight room? Or maybe more so, when did you realize that you could move weight like that?
So it really started in high school. And it was like my 8th grade going to my 9th grade year. I had this upperclassman. He was a senior at the time I was an 8th grader. And, I just see him in there working. He played running back too. And I was like, man, that boy really lifting. I see him on the field. He like just running through people, making people miss. And that's what really got me started taking the weight room seriously. I see him. It'll be after hours, like the school shut down. He in there working out. And I was like, man, I know I can do what he's doing. And then like we'll talk, and he was like, you're gonna be better than me one day. And it just kept driving me. And so that's how it all started. And so like when you ask how do I attack the weight room I take pretty serious because like I know the results that what I put into it, I'm gonna get out of it, and it's gonna translate to the field. So I take that pretty seriously.
Being from Alabama, were you watching guys like Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson, Derrick Henry? Were those guys that you tried to model yourself after?
So Mark Ingram, yes, I did. I remember watching him because he also went to the Saints, and the Saints were my favorite NFL team, and so I seen a lot of him. I seen a lot of carries from him growing up, and then Derrick Henry, how he dominated the collegiate level. Then you had a long line like T.J. Yeldon. We had Najee Harris, Kenyon. Who was it? Drake. Last name was Drake.
Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, Kenyon Drake.
Bo Scarborough.
So Alabama always had a long line of great running backs, and now I'm in the state of Alabama, so that's all you see. So yeah, watching those guys on TV, they definitely. I picked them on their style of run.
I know you like Bijan Robinson a lot too.
Oh yeah, Bijan Robinson is nice. I can't even lie. He's nice. You got to give it to him. He's nice.
Saturday is a chance. You're going to close out the home schedule, but it's a chance to be undefeated at home. As someone that wears the uniform and plays for these fans, what would an undefeated home record mean for you and the team?
Oh, it meant a lot because, obviously we couldn't do it without him because the power of Paulson is real. And I've known that since I got here as a freshman. Like, the first home game I ever had when we had played Campbell, I was like, man, this is a passionate fan base. And, when our defense makes a stop and you just hear the roar of the stadium, or like we break off a big play, it's hard for an opposing team to deal with that. And I know that's like a 12th man for us. It's major. It's major.
When you got here in 20, the COVID season, the crowd that year was only 6,200 because of social distancing. But to think that it could still sound the way that it did and still create that kind of feeling, and now you get a chance to play in front of more than 20,000 each weekend, that's pretty cool.
It's cool. I feel like it's a blessing because not every program across the country gets to have that passionate fan base who wants to see us succeed. I don't think everybody gets that. And for us to have that, it's a wonderful feeling.
Jalen, it's a lot of fun having gotten to watch you over these last 4 years. Continued success. Best of luck on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
And best of luck getting used to a Sun Belt championship.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is running back Jalen White from Daleville, Alabama. We'll talk with head coach Clay Helton to close things out after this. It's Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield.
And put your hands together for the Houdinis of the hardwood, the human highlight reels that bring wow to the now, the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters. This isn't just basketball. This is where what just happened happens all the time. Don't miss the Harlem Globetrotters 2024 World Tour presented by Jersey Mike Subs at Hanner Fieldhouse on December 15th. Go to harlemglobetrotters.com for tickets.
At Georgia Southern, we're more than a university. We're a legacy, forged from a spirit of tenacity, grit, and determination. We're transforming communities, changing lives, and igniting the vitality of our economies. Take advantage of No Fee November, where all undergrad application fees are waived from now until November 30th. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Visit georgiasouthern.edu/apply to find out more.
Eagle Nation, don't miss the final home game of the regular season, Saturday, November 18th for Senior Day versus Old Dominion as we celebrate Ag Day. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. Watch the blue and white one more time inside the prettiest little stadium in America. Celebrate Ag Day on Saturday, November 18th versus Old Dominion as we honor the 2023 senior class. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
Aw, shucks. The game's on TV, but I can't listen to the call of my favorite team broadcasters.
Never fear. Sync My Game is here.
Sync My Game?
Yes, Sync My Game. If you have a DVR and streaming device, head to syncmygame.com from Learfield. It's never been easier to hear the impassioned voices of your favorite radio crew synced with the TV.
Wow, thank you, Mr.
Just remember, syncmygame.com.
The Eagles fly here.
Intercepted. It's picked off. Condre Jackson to the 30. He outruns Bradley to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. How about that on the second play? Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern.
Hail Southern and GATA all season long.
He caught it. He caught it. What a lightning bolt. 79 yards to the jet.
On the Georgia Southern Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey y'all, this is Michael Felder, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country every week with new episodes dropping 4 days a week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way through the national championship game in January. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your favorite podcast. And be sure to follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
Powered by Learfield. Welcome back to Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now, let's return live to Wild Wing Cafe. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Just a couple of minutes left in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live, presented by Morris Benko, the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. Quick update from Athens. They are at the end of the first half at Stegman Coliseum. Georgia leads Georgia Southern 35-22. Second half should be starting in just a couple of moments. Eagle men's basketball on the road tomorrow night, taking on the Jacksonville Dolphins down in the First Coast. That is a 7 o'clock tip-off. We're live at 6:30 from Swisher Gymnasium with the Cutwater Spirits countdown to tip-off. Coach, it's Old Dominion this weekend. One more time at Paulson Stadium. I'll ask you the question I asked Jalen. The chance to go undefeated at home, what does that mean?
You did your job. That's part of the power of Paulson and representing how hard it is to play there.
Sure.
You know, we work every week to put that number on that total count every time we go in there. And we know we're honoring a tradition of excellence that was founded way before us, you know, and that's a special thing about being an Eagle and being at Paulson is, you know, you represent not only your team, but you're representing a lot of men that came before you. And every time you step on that field, you have a responsibility to honor winning tradition.
Old Dominion has lost its last 3 games. They come to Statesboro with a 4-6 record, just like Georgia Southern, though 3-3 in conference play. Usually I'd begin with a team's offense, but you can't talk Old Dominion without mentioning number 42 in the middle of the defense because he has more tackles than most teams do, but Jason Henderson is an All-American for good reason.
Yeah, Jason's playing at elite level for another year. He did the same thing last year. He's playing so well. He's all over the field. You have to know where he's at. It's one of the reasons that they're one of the toughest defenses in our conference. They keep him in games. Up until last week, they were a one-score game in every game they had played.
Yep.
And so it didn't matter who they were playing. And so it is it's something that when you look at this team, they do a great job of leaning on that defense. Ricky does a good job with a powerful run game, a good play-action game offensively, and then that defense goes out there and they hold you to a few points.
In addition to Henderson, they've got 2 other guys with north of 90 tackles this year. That's very atypical, but they are on the field for about 74 plays per game. Linebacker Wayne Matthews is close to 100. The Rover, Terry Jones, is up close to 100. So while you do have to know where 42 is, you've got to know where those two guys are as well.
Yeah, and they play so many multiple fronts. I mean, it's an odd package, but it's somewhere where they're able to mix and mingle, whether you're the Sam, the Will, and then you got 42 anchor in that middle. It's a special system that you don't necessarily see all year, and I think that's one of the things that give offenses problems is all of a sudden here it's almost like Army, like dive option football. You come in here and you get this odd star package with this middle runner. You don't see it a lot of times in college football, and this is our first time seeing it this year, so it'll be a unique challenge.
A year ago in Norfolk got the 28-23 victory. They ran as much drop eight as anybody maybe did the entire year. Do you see them incorporating that, or is this a completely new idea with still using Henderson as the centerpiece?
Well, I think that it's amazing because once they did that package against us last year, they stuck with it. So that was the first time they had showed it, had success with it, especially in the passing game. And, credit to Ellis, he really dove into the run game in that game, and Jalen was a huge part of getting that victory last year. And so, one of the things I know Brian always does, he's always done a great job of, is taking what the defense gives him. And so that's going to have to be we always go in with a great pass package, a great run package, and then kind of get a feel defensively what you decide you want to be today. And off that, then we make our calls.
And Jalen had 30 carries in that game last year, a career high, one of his 9 career 100-yard games. He also had 2 receptions in that 5-point victory. But even though we spend time talking about each week for itself, it's 1-0, it's 1-0. We've discussed what this team is capable of if you're able to get both wins in 2 games and get some help from JMU against Coastal Carolina in the final week of the season. Do you still have to know that that's out there while making sure that the focus is on the week at hand?
Yeah, we're so routine-based creatures and we know, just has been proven over the last 4 weeks, you have to pour yourself into a week in this conference. This is the premier group of 5 conference there is in the country, and every team is so competitive. And every team, as you look right now, is fighting for bowl eligibility. And here's another one whose backs up against the wall that has had so many close games that knows that they can get over the top. And if you don't put your full concentration in that, you're going to get your butt beat. So that's what we do. Yes, there's a big carrot that looms out there, but we know that if you look at that carrot, there's a good chance you're going to get an L.
Yeah.
You've got to focus on this week.
6 o'clock Saturday. We're live at 4 against Old Dominion for Senior Day and Ag Day. Coach, thanks very much. Best of luck. 1-0 this week.
Thank you, Danny. Hail Southern.
For head coach Clay Helton, Jalen White, Chris Affolter back at our studios, and Director of Athletics Jared Benko, Danny Reed signing off from Wild Wing Cafe. This has been Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.